What time to call this?
12:46 and 23 seconds.
Thought you had revision.
Got to eat something first. Anything for me?
I can't think why anybody would be writing to you.
I know. It's not as if my 18th birthday's that important.
Exactly. It's not until tomorrow anyway.
Nothing there.
There's a few cards.
Can I see?
Put the kettle on.
Okie doke.
What have you got there?
Oh, it's the access report. It's time for the annual audit.
Oh, it'd be nice to see Ernie again. He's such a nice man.
Oh, do you know, it's not going to be Ernie. It's a new woman, Pat Whitten.
Yeah, I thought a change was called for.
Oh, we all liked Ernie and Howard got on with him really well. So.
I'm sure. It's not always about getting on with someone, though, is it? It's about getting the best possible service.
Yeah, but I always thought he was...
I need the cash flow forecast for the next 2 quarters.
Well, that'll take a while.
You've got an hour. Valerie can look after Mrs. Whitten.
Yeah, but I've got the reception to
It's
take
quiet
later.
this morning. Soon be lunchtime.
Yeah.
That's settled then. Is this the latest report?
Yeah, I was...
Good. Get on with those figures, would you? Valerie will have a quick walk through later.
Oh, she can't just resign without giving
I
notice.
think you'll find she just did.
That's 3 PAs in 9 months. Don't people want to work?
Well, not for you, apparently.
I just have high standards.
You ever thought of lowering them a bit?
Why would I do that?
Oh, I don't know, just to make people like you a bit more.
Oh, it's not about being liked. It's about being true to yourself. I've got an access audit to do today. What am I supposed to do?
Go on your own.
Don't be ridiculous. I need a personal assistant.
Oh, I don't get this whole PA thing. You keep telling me how independent you are.
Which I am. I just need backup. You'll have to do it.
Mum,
You'll have to smarten yourself up first, though. Put a clean shirt on.
but I've got revision.
Oh, your first exam isn't for another 6 weeks. We are on a personal mission to make the world a more accessible place for people.
We.
Yes? Are you saying it's not important after everything I've taught you?
I get that it's important, but so is my revision.
Oh, bring it with you.
Mum, I really don't think I can just...
Shirt, right? And don't forget to brush your teeth.
Dr. Clay? Dr. Clay? So, what brings you to King's Green?
I was just here to catch up with an old friend.
Oh, well, it is very good to see you again.
You too.
Aisha left them there. Store cupboard's full.
She can't just dump things in the corridor.
Well, it's a temporary measure. Ernie did recommend a bigger cupboard.
Then why hasn't anything been done?
Howard said it was quite expensive.
They'll have to be moved. Where is Aisha?
Home visit. She'll be back later.
Look, I want them shifted the moment she comes back. Make a note. And we need to do something about this.
I'm not sure how we can make a mural more accessible.
Generally speaking, it's hideous. It's hardly up to date, is it? Note.
Yeah, the thing is, people are rather fond of that mural.
What people?
Well, everybody.
You mean?
I mean...
It's hardly representative of the mill, is it? Ain't Neve's left, Mrs. Tembe's left, Howard's dead. I'm just stating facts. Al's the only one left. It has to go.
You can't just get rid of it.
Why not?
Well, you need a proper period of consultation, don't you?
What on earth for? Send out a memo, that should do it. I want a quote for its removal on my desk first thing Monday. Have you got those figures? Right, let's go.
Pat Whitten here to do the access audit.
Of course. It's Mrs. Whitten.
Ms., this is my son Vienna. He'll be my PA for the day.
Anthony Harker, practice manager.
Are you aware there are loose paving slabs outside the main entrance?
I must confess I wasn't, no.
They make wheelchair access difficult, and it's a potential trip hazard.
Well, that's exactly the sort of issue we want you to highlight. Please, put it in your report, Ms. Whitten. Valerie will be looking after you. Anything you need, just ask her.
Now, I would offer you a cup of tea, but I can't leave the desk just yet, so...
I'll do it.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, of course. I'm here to assist after all. Just point me in the right direction.
So what are your colleagues like?
But they are very professional. I have not really been here long enough to get to know them on a personal level.
I'm sure that'll come.
Yeah, it is difficult with so many people leaving. 2 more partners, and now the practice manager, Jeff Goddard.
Isn't he the one who brought you in?
Yes. Yes, his leaving was most unexpected. Between you and I, we are going through something of a crisis. There are even rumors that one of the large private health organizations, well, they are interested in a takeover.
Which one?
Brunton Medical.
So where does that leave you?
I have no idea.
You, fancy a spot lunch?
I would like that very much. But perhaps not here.
The Icon, then, my treat.
Right.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
You're welcome.
Vienna's pretty good in the kitchen. I've always encouraged him to be as independent as possible.
Vienna. Now, that's an unusual name.
He was conceived there. Probably the last useful thing my ex-husband ever did.
I prefer Vinny.
I don't know what's wrong with Vienna. It's a beautiful city.
It reminds me of that cat on that comedy programme.
Rising damp. Everyone says that. Don't they, Mum?
I didn't come here to discuss 1970 sitcoms. It's time to start the audit.
Right, now, I can't show you around just now.
Not a problem. I prefer to discover things for myself. You wait here.
And this is the net income for both practices?
I think so. We're doing all right, aren't we?
More than all right. I'd like to share these figures with the partners as soon as possible.
Do you want me to email them round?
Well, not at this stage. Could you set up an emergency meeting, please?
Oh, what do you mean he's not in today?
Well, Daniel and Zara will do for starters. First thing after morning surgery?
Do you want me to tell them what it's about?
No, I can do that.
Do you want me to call Jimmy, see if he can come in?
No need.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry things have been difficult for you at King's Green.
Oh, it is not too bad. Most of the NHS is facing one kind of crisis or another.
Maybe. I'm sure all this upheaval wasn't what you wanted when you left the mill.
No. But what these last few months has taught me is that change is not always a bad thing.
You reckon?
Oh, I miss my old colleagues, of course. Being at King's Green, it has taught me how to be more adaptable, more flexible.
Good.
So, what about you, Dr. Clay? I'm sure your concern for my well-being is not the only reason you have come to see me.
Oh, well, I was thinking of making some changes myself.
Oh, really?
You know this FME job that I've been doing?
Huh?
Turns out that I've got a bit of a flair for it.
A-level business. Got my first exam in 6 weeks.
What else are you studying?
IT, art and maths.
What are you going to do with all that knowledge?
Architecture. Got an offer from Newcastle, but need 3 A's.
That's a long way from home.
Yes, it is.
Do you know, I could not wait to get away when I was your age.
And what was it like, making the break?
I don't know. Mum and Dad weren't keen, so I stayed put.
Ah.
I've left my camera in the car. Get it for me, would you?
What's the magic word?
Or you won't get this month's allowance. That's 7 magic words, but you get the drift. Please.
Of course, Mummy dearest. Keys.
He is a bright boy, your Vinny.
Vienna.
He was telling me about his Newcastle offer. Architecture, that's exciting.
He's had an offer for Birmingham too. They have an excellent access design module.
And that's his passion, is it?
Should be every architect's passion, making the world a better place for all. Besides, Newcastle's out of the question. It's too expensive. It's not easy being a single parent.
Oh, I'm sure. And then there's the... you know...
What's my chair got to do with anything? This is purely to get me from A to B. It doesn't define me as a person. Or at least it shouldn't.
What about your work as a doctor?
Might still be using my medical training.
But you are a GP. One of the very best.
Maybe. No, I think it's time to move on. Things have changed.
You are Dr. Clay. Is that really such a bad thing?
Yeah, it is. Especially when I'm answerable to someone like Anthony Harker.
Right. I see.
I didn't go into general practice to work for thoughtless number crunchers.
Surely you can find some kind of compromise.
No, I don't think I can. No, you showed me the way, Mrs. Tenby. There's no future for me at the mill. Not while Harker's there. I'm leaving.
Yep. Thanks, Aisha. Yes, thanks for letting us know. I'll pass that on. Oh, thing is, there...
Ah, Miss Whitten, how's it going?
I will be putting some things in my report, but I do also need to look in your office.
But it's not a public space.
But it still needs to be accessible, unless, of course, you're suggesting that the job of practice manager couldn't possibly be done by someone with a disability.
Be my guest.
Mm-hmm.
Are Daniel and Zara free yet?
Zara's on house calls. Daniel's in the staff room. Aisha just phoned to say that
I look forward to reading your report.
Ah, there you are. Considering the time it took, I could have gone and got it myself.
She like that with everyone.
Yes.
We were just chatting about uni. She said you've also got an option to go to Birmingham.
Yeah,
You don't sound keen,
that's what Mum wants.
but not you. She said it would be cheaper.
Did she?
That money was an issue.
She told me that 5 minutes ago, I'd have believed.
Are you really going to let one man drive you away from the mill?
You did.
Maybe it was time for me to move on.
Really? Because you always seem so happy there.
And so do you.
Yeah, well, for the most part.
I have no reason to like Mr. Harker. Well, maybe some of the changes he has made, well, maybe they were necessary. I do not think I would have had the stomach to push them through.
You wouldn't have wanted to.
And that would have been my failing. When I look at what is happening to King's Green, the threat to the very existence of the practice, I can see that sometimes tough decisions need to be made.
I don't want any part of him.
Then take no part. Whatever you may think of him personally, Mr. Harker will do anything necessary to safeguard the mill. Maybe you should just let him get on with it. Then you can concentrate on what you are really good at. Being an excellent doctor.
Mr. Harker, I need to talk to you about issues relating to the deliberate blocking of a fire exit.
Can it wait?
Of course it can.
Good.
Providing you don't mind if I burn to death in the event of a fire breaking out because my escape route has been impeded.
Let's go and take a look then, shall we?
And she never told you about the money?
Or that she'd even been in touch with my dad.
Do you ever see him?
No, not since he left. Not long after my mum's accident. She hasn't got a good word to say about him.
How old were you?
4.
And she's been in a wheelchair ever since?
Yeah.
Well, she must have had some reason for keeping it secret.
Yeah. To stop me from leaving. So she's still got her little helper running around after her. Picking up the stuff she drops on the floor, lifting things off shelves, making peace with all the carers and PAs she hacks off.
That must be tough.
Whilst all the time she's just banging on about her rights. The struggle for equality, equal access for all. I mean, they're very important.
Yes, but so are you.
I did ask for them to be moved.
And why haven't they been?
I'm not entirely sure. I'll see it's done as soon as possible.
Good. It's a potential serious issue in an emergency situation.
There is an alternative exit.
What if that's blocked?
I'm sure staff could assist where necessary.
What if there weren't any? What if someone was trapped in this corridor?
My predecessor did look at improving storage space.
You mean it's been mentioned in a previous report and nothing's happened?
Between you and me, he wasn't the most organised person in the world.
So what do you propose to do about it? You had a fire here just over a year ago, didn't you?
Once again, before my time.
Mr. Harker, if I were you, I'd stop blaming others for your practice's shortcomings and start taking some responsibility for doing something yourself. It'll all be going in my report.
It's so good to see you again, Dr. Clay.
Good luck, whatever happens.
Yes. Well, whatever will be, will be.
You've changed.
The circumstances have changed me. And as for you, I have no doubt that you would make an excellent full-time medical examiner. But something tells me that you would miss being a doctor, and your patients would miss you too. The men need you, Dr. Clay. And I believe that is where your heart lies. Mr. Harker is a problem for sure. But what about the others? Dr. Carter, Mrs. Hollins, even Dr. Granger. You have known them all for a very long time, and you will miss them.
You might be right.
Might be.
Okay, you are.
Please, just give this a little more thought. If anyone should be leaving the mill, it should be Mr. Harker and not you.
Vinny and I were just having a chat about Newcastle.
Vienna.
That'd be a long way to go for university. I'm sure there's a way around the finances. There's grants and things.
It's not just that. I need him here.
Yes? To help look after you mean?
I don't need looking after.
Why then?
That's my personal assistant.
Yes, but when you went to the car, you said it would have been quicker if you'd gone yourself.
Oh, what is this? Have a pop-up pack day all of a sudden. I've told you before, Vienna, we just can't afford it. End of.
You sure about that?
I'd really rather not discuss my personal finances in front of a complete stranger.
Because if we're so skin, how do you explain this?
You had no right going through my bag!
Yeah, and you had no right lying to me.
Bottom line's looking good. Business is on a firm footing.
I'm glad to hear it.
Unlike some of our competitors.
Like who?
Well, as you know, I had an interesting conversation with Mrs. Tembe at your party. Found out some useful information about King's Green. Apparently, they're in complete disarray.
I heard that Sarah Venables was leaving.
Jeff Goddard too.
Well, that's just the thin end of a thick and rather messy wedge. Little Birdie tells me Branton Medical are putting together a takeover bid.
So that's what this is about? Making sure we're in a strong position to resist any takeover bids?
In a way, yes, but the more I look at this, the more a different solution presents itself.
Which is what, exactly?
I think we should steal a march on Branton. I'm proposing that we enter into discussions with King's Green ourselves.
Is there anything else you've been keeping from me?
No.
Not a long-lost sister? Or a £1 million lottery win you forgot to mention?
I needed time to think.
What's to think about? I haven't seen my dad in 14 years. He sends you money, tells you he wants to see me, and you keep it a secret. Well?
Hang on, Vinny, just give her a chance.
I didn't want to hurt you.
Oh, so you told me a heap of lies instead. Did you ever stop to think about me and what I wanted?
And now you're being selfish.
Oh, that's rich coming from you. You're the most selfish person I know. It's always about you. Your rights, your life, your disability.
I didn't ask to be in this wheelchair.
And I didn't ask for a mum who's constantly putting her needs ahead of mine time after time. I mean, what about me, Mum, eh? What about me?
We have enough challenges keeping 2 surgeries going. Are you seriously suggesting that we take on another?
Yes.
Why?
King's Green are in trouble. Low morale, staff leaving, accounts and finances all at sea.
Why take on King's Green if it's in such a mess?
Well, it's the structures that are wrong. Elements of the business model, but there's no shortage of people out there who need proper medical services.
We should leave it to a company like Brenton.
We could. Granted. Branton are big and getting bigger. I'm sure they do a very good job of putting King's Green back on its feet again.
There you go.
And then what? They start looking around for other local practices to swallow up. We'd be next in the firing line. That could be the end for the mill.
Do you want me to go and find him?
No, he'll be back when he's calmed down.
What if he isn't? You know, you can't force him to stay at home. I don't think that would do either of you any good. Surely you realise that. You'll just push him away.
You're right.
So why try then?
His father was a real toe-rag. Not a good influence on anyone. Yeah, he broke Vienna's heart when he left. Mine too. I'm just worried he'll do the same all over again.
We might have changed.
If he had, he'd have been in touch sooner. I mean, where was he when Vienna was going through adolescence? Nowhere. He can't just swan in now.
But even if he hasn't changed, Vinny needs to work it out for himself. He's a big boy. He needs to decide who he sees and what his own name is.
Live and let live was never my style. Mark used to say I was a control freak.
He was right about that. Battering people into submission until they just give in. It's the only way she knows.
Well, that's a bit harsh.
No, he's right. It's what I do. I'm sorry, love. Of course you must go.
Really?
If you get the grades.
I'll get the grades. You know what I'm like when I put my mind to something.
I wonder who he gets that from.
Do you know where Dad's living now?
Yes. A place called Wylam.
Where's that?
About 10 miles from Newcastle. I was gonna tell you.
When? Halfway through my second year at Birmingham?
Let's talk about this later, at home. Most of the point, I'll listen a bit more.
I might not be coming home tonight. I'm going to call Dad. And if he wants to see me, I'm catching the next train.
Today?
Yes, me and him need to talk too.
Well, you can't just go without notice.
Why not? You'll do fine on your own, what with you being so independent and everything.
It's your birthday tomorrow. I've baked a cake.
We'll have it when I get back.
No, I won't let you.
Mum?
Sorry. Yes. We'll have a late birthday.
I'm going to see my dad, if he'll have me. Find out for myself what he's really like. If I don't go now, I'm afraid I never will. I'll be in the car.
I'm worried about him. How his father will be with him. He won't love him, he'll hurt him again.
Children grow up, don't they? Make their own decisions. We did it, didn't we? Vinny will decide what's right for him, father or not.
If we get in there first, it keeps Branton out of Leatherbridge and puts us in a stronger position to resist any future takeover bids.
Makes sense. Been there before, remember?
Gary Lucas.
It's not just about keeping Branton out there. It's about making us stronger and more productive, spreading our costs across all 3 sites, economies of scale, sharing best practice, but ultimately providing a better service for our patients.
It's worth considering.
We need to do a bit more research before we commit ourselves, but we need to move fast if we're to go ahead with this.
Well, the numbers certainly stack up.
Yeah, but it's not just about the money, is it? We need to be sure that it's the right thing for the patients.
And that's what Jimmy's going to say.
Well, if Jimmy's on side, are you willing to give it a go?
That's a big if. You know Jimmy.
If he can be persuaded, then I think it might work.
Excellent. Sarah?
I think it's certainly a possibility.
Good. Well, I'll set up a meeting for Monday. Give me time to crunch a few more numbers. This could be the start of an exciting new era for us all.
Hey, stop it! I said calm down! Calm down! Whoa!
You could have at least asked us if we wanted to take a photograph before you desecrated Howard's memory.
Emma!
Unbelievable. Why'd you sleep with her? Why'd you have to ruin everything?
I wanted you to listen to me.
I hate you!
Who's the only singer to make #1 with an official